The drivers moving in and out of the top spot, and as they take the green flag again, it is Dale Earnhardt in car number 15, who is the leader at the moment, the Grand National champion in 1980, who had a dry 1981. Not winning a single race last year, is seeking his first win since October of 80 at Charlotte, North Carolina. And young Tim Richmond in car number 2 is currently in second place. Earnhardt leading, Richmond second. Elliott is currently third. Dale Yarborough, despite spinning on lap number 67, very much in the hunt in car 27. The yellow flag was out because just minutes ago, last year's winner, Darrell Waltrip, in car 11, the defending Grand National champion, blew a tire, spun into turn number 1. Somehow, some way, Jody Ridley able to avoid him. It was a long day for Waltrip anyway. He had distributor problems earlier. Before that, however, he had led the race. But he is finished for the day. There he is, Waltrip out of his car, a live shot now of last year's Grand National champion, South Carolina. Al Michaels reporting with Jackie Stewart. We have Chris Economaki and Sam Posey working the pits. And the current standings after 285 laps show Dale Earnhardt leading. Dale Yarborough is second. Bill Elliott running third. Benny Parsons is the only other man on the same lap. He is in fourth place. Terry Labonte in car number 44, the current point leader on the Grand National circuit, a lap down and running fifth. A little more than 100 miles remaining with Dale Earnhardt running very well in car 15, maintaining his advantage here, Jackie.
Well, Dale Earnhardt's gone very well all day. He's had a lot of power. The Ford engine seems to be going down the straightaways well. Tim Richmond, who, when we were last here just a few moments ago, was lying in second place. He will be hearing what happened to him, but he had to slow, went into the fence, and therefore has dropped way back. But Dale Earnhardt, car number 15, the blue and yellow car, leading this race with a little bit of a healthy margin in a way, but certainly not getting away from the field.
The race has been run under relatively ideal conditions. The temperature in the low 70s. We started out in bright sunshine. We have some high cloud cover right now, but no spread of rain, and a crowd of about 40,000 looking on for this, the 6th race on the Grand National Circuit for 1982. Dale Earnhardt, 29 years old, out of Kannapolis, North Carolina, won 5 races in 1980 and took the overall point title. Pointed out earlier, however, he had his problems last year, did not win a race, has not won a race thus far in 1982, and is looking for his first victory since October the 5th of 1980. Let's get a report on the fate of Tim Richmond, who is still running, but a lap down, and we'll check in with Chris Economaki. Chris?
Richmond driving as a substitute driver in a strange car and worked his way up to second place, overcoming a penalty where they put him to the end of the line for passing on the yellow, forged back ahead, and then as the green flag came out, left tire, had to stop for replacement. Mitchell did a good job, but he's a lap down now in 6th place. Back to you, Al.
All right, Chris, Dale Earnhardt still maintaining the lead. 4 men running on the same lap at the moment. Dale Yarborough has had a most interesting day. He was involved in a spin on lap 67, right in front of the grandstand, and is still very much in the thick of things in 2nd place. Dale Earnhardt leading with about 100 miles left in the Rebel 500, and earlier Chris spoke with him.
What's the most difficult part of driving Darlington?
Well, really, it's just getting in and out of 3 and 4, you know, through the corners. It's real tight. You haven't got enough room to race really side by side, even though we do here, and take a little chance. But it's just a tight racetrack to race on.
The race is very tight, in particular early in any Rebel or Southern 500, which would be the other Grand National race. I like to refer to this, Jackie, in particular early in the race, as a one-groove racetrack.
It's a very narrow racetrack indeed, as far as the fast lane is concerned, and there's very little passing allowed on the bankings. We've seen stock car racing at other racetracks where you might see them 2 and sometimes 3 abreast on the high banking. The banking around this racetrack is about 21 to 22 degrees, so it's not quite such a high banking. And in addition to that, they don't seem to be able to run really high close against the wall. You can see Dale Earnhardt there, still leaving probably a good car width between he and the wall when he's on the highest half of the banking. But of course, a difficult racetrack. The old granddaddy of them all, they say.
They call it the Lady in Black off times. A lot of action takes place here. Let's check in now in Dale Earnhardt's pit with Sam Posey. Sam?
Al, I'm with Bud Moore. He's on the Dale Earnhardt car. Bud, your car has
led more laps than any other car in the season thus far, but you've often had trouble right at this point, very deep in the race. How does it look this time?
Well, everything's looking right good right now. We hope everything will hold up. We got one little stop to make. We'll probably stop again. So, right now, it's looking real good.
How does Dale report? Is the power there?
Well, the car's performing real well, and it's handling real well at this point. I think maybe we can control it if we don't have any problems.
Bud, you're a veteran campaigner of many years, but I must say you're looking a little nervous right now.
Thank you.
All right, Sam. Not quite sure Bud heard that last question in light of the response. He has to be a little bit nervous right now because Earnhardt has less than 100 miles to go. We've completed 367 laps with Earnhardt leading, Dale Yarborough second, Benny Parsons is third, and Bill Elliott running fourth, all on the same lap.
Right now, Dale Earnhardt's car seems to be the one best suited to go this last 100 miles because the car directly behind him, the car in second place, the one driven by Cale Yarborough, had made contact earlier on with another vehicle, has damaged the front end slightly aerodynamically, and is not perhaps handling quite as well as it should because aerodynamics plays such an important part even in a racetrack like this that's not the super fast way that we're used to seeing in some of these stock cars, because we're averaging here probably around about 150 miles an hour if it's a clean lap.
This is the nation's original superspeedway, having opened back in 1950. We're live from Darlington, South Carolina, and Dale Earnhardt is the leader in the Rebel 500.
The following.
Back live in Darlington, South Carolina, and Benny Parsons coming down on the inside to overtake Cale Yarborough, but back comes Cale down low to retake second place behind the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
Well, dear, really, that was a very close thing for Benny Parsons. He nearly hit the wall in turn 3, which just has been in fashion today because several people have done just that. In fact, one of the cars, the Wood Brothers car driven by Neil Bonnet, rubbed the wall up in turn 3. Cale Yarborough himself came very close to hitting the wall, and now we saw Benny Parsons, after having passed Cale Yarborough, really come close to hitting that wall. So we now have in second place still Cale Yarborough, and third place there you can see that third place car, and there's the relationship to Dale Earnhardt in the yellow car there in your picture, who's supposed still leading this race.
We clocked Earnhardt on the last lap with about a 3.5-second margin at this point, but running cleanly, staying out of trouble. We've completed now exactly 300 of the 367 laps in the Rebel 500. And a look back now to second place. Still the tight battle going on right there with Cale Yarborough on the outside. And here comes Parsons again.
Still trying to pass, but very difficult, as you said earlier. Not an easy racetrack to pass. There's basically one groove around this racetrack. The short straightaways, very short straightaways in this 1.366-mile racetrack. So therefore, these big long turns around here don't give anybody much of a chance to draft and get past in these short chutes. So Benny Parsons has to look for a slight error of judgment by Cale Yarborough before he can sneak through. He can get real close to the car coming out of one of the turns, as he's doing right now, to try and get a draft and duck through underneath them. But it certainly isn't easy.
They are turning laps right now at about 149 miles per hour. Cale Yarborough grew up in nearby Timminsville, South Carolina. Now making his home in Sardis, looking for his first win in the Rebel 500. Chris spoke with him earlier.
Concentration, Cale. How do you maintain it over a long 500 miles at Darlington?
Well, concentration is something that comes about with experience, I think, Chris. You know, you see a lot of young drivers who run real good early in a race, and especially a place like Darlington, and sooner or later, sometimes during the race, something usually happens to them. But concentration is something you have to work on, and it just comes with years of experience that when that race starts, that you just concentrate on exactly what you are going to be doing and what you got to be doing all day, and never let your mind wander. Because a place like Darlington is it just has no margin for error whatsoever. So if you lose your concentration for a split second, it'll get you.
Yarborough right now certainly maintaining his concentration, but it is Benny Parsons coming down inside again and then moving up to the top of the track in the turn in car 28. But this time, Parsons is able to maintain the slight advantage over Yarborough. So Benny now trailing only Earnhardt.
Well, Benny Parsons made a very positive move there. He got his car in the right part of the racetrack going into turn 3, was able to hold his position, although I'm sure you could witness on the screen there, the car was certainly not stable. It was certainly a little bit loose. Benny Parsons, another driver with enormous experience in car number 28 there. So 28 and 27, both experienced drivers. The car of Yarborough, the second car in your picture there, has a slight problem in the front right-hand side of the car. The left-hand side of your picture right now, the front fender and the front bumper, as I call it, certainly was damaged earlier on, and that's not helping the aerodynamic shape of the car, particularly as you're always turning left here, and that's the side close to the wall where you want most of the downforce and pressure aerodynamically to make the car stick to the road. But it's Benny Parsons in 28 who has second place right now. Dale Earnhardt still very much in the lead here with quite a cushion, quite a spare piece of racetrack between he and the second and third runners.
And if anything, Earnhardt at this point is stretching it out just a bit. He has about a 5-second lead. There he is running alone in car number 15, Dale Earnhardt. We have 61 laps remaining over this circuit, which is 1.366 miles around, about 82 miles. It's Earnhardt leading, Parsons second, Yarborough third, and Elliott fourth, all running on the same lap with Labonte 1 lap down and in 5th place.
Well, Dale Earnhardt, one of the younger drivers in this NASCAR trail. He's only 29 years of age, and put that against the guys in their 40s, and you see that he's one of the new men, one of the young lions, so to speak. He's certainly not super young by other forms of racing around the world, but among the NASCAR crowd, he's certainly not the most experienced driver, but has adapted remarkably well, and certainly last season showed a tremendous performance all the year through.
The Grand National Champion 1980, Dale Earnhardt, seeking his first victory since he won at Charlotte, North Carolina on October the 5th of 1980.
He's got career earnings of more than $1.3 million, so he can boast to be an extremely successful driver in any formula of racing around the world.
Right now, Jackie, what this may come down to, if we remain under the green all the way through, is the work of the pit crews. Each of the leaders will have, the way we figure it, just one pit stop remaining, as we have now completed 308 laps with 59 laps to go.
Well, as we've all witnessed for many, many years, as we see some of the information going up there on Dale Earnhardt, NASCAR stock car racing is one of the most exciting, and one never knows what's going to happen. With less than 100 miles to go, you can never say who's going to win a motor race. So I don't expect anything to happen. There's your past winners. I think you're going to still see some surprises in this race, so stay glued.
Mention that Yarborough has never won this race, and Cale would consider this more than any other track his hometown track. However, he has won the Southern 500, the other race that is held here on Labor Day, on 4 different occasions. Now, we'll go back to lap 67, about 3 hours ago. Watch Yarborough in car 27.
The car that's loose right now seems perhaps be touched by a car behind him, but he really got loose here. He nearly came up and hit the car of Tim Richmond, the blue car there. He locked up the wheels. He got the car all the way down the front stretch here, right in front of his family, right in front of his wife, without touching the barrier at all. Keir Yarborough was able to continue. He burst his tires in that spin out, so therefore he was okay, and as you know, is still in this motor race very much.
We are live from Darlington, South Carolina, with 56 laps to go. Dale Earnhardt seeking a victory in the Rebel 500. We'll be right back. Dale Earnhardt in car 15, still the leader. With 53 laps remaining in the Rebel 500, Benny Parsons in second, each man seeking his first victory of the season. Cale Yarborough, who won last week's race at North Carolina at the Rockingham track, there he is currently running in 3rd place. And his crew chief down in Yarborough's pit along with Sam Posey. Let's check in with Tim Brewer and Sam.
Thanks, Al. This is Tim Brewer. Tim, earlier in the race, Cale became involved in an accident right here in front of you in pit lane. What happened there?
Cale checked up, Neil and him kind of got together and they spun. They'd been up before on the car, knocked the front end out, and, you know, we worked with it, tried to get it a little bit better. And at one time we had it pretty good, but we changed the tire stacker combination. Right now it's intended to go away on us. So if we could get another caution flag, get another set of tires, we have a shot to beat Earnhardt.
Okay, with Tim Brewer, who badly needs another caution to get Cale's car handling back the way it was a few laps ago.
Thank you, Sam, and it's really deja vu because we covered the Atlanta 500 held 2 weeks ago at Atlanta International Raceway. Yarborough was in a relatively similar position there. He was trailing Waltrip and also Richard Petty, and he was third. He was right in the hunt, but he was very low on rubber, and as a consequence, they were hopeful of a yellow flag there. They did get it, but what they also got was a red flag later on because the yellow came out for a rain delay, and then the race was stopped because of a downpour in Atlanta, with Waltrip edging out Richard Petty that day, and Cale Yarborough winding up in third place. He is currently sitting third right now, and the leader is Dale Earnhardt, but his lead has been shaved. His lead now is down to 2 seconds over Benny Parsons.
Well, Benny Parsons has been putting on a bit of a charge. You never quite know the circumstances. It could be that Dale Earnhardt's getting a little low in rubber also, and the car is not handling to the best of its ability. And there you see Benny Parsons, who's really hustling now to come in, to get into grips with the leader. Remember, there's still a pit stop to come, and that could be crucial here, because pit stops, as you know, is the out.
42, his machine, which has just hit the wall moments ago. That has brought out the yellow flag here at Darlington. Here's another look now as Petty makes contact. Kyle Petty making contact and sliding down in. And, of course, as you can see, he has walked away. That has enabled, with the yellow flag out, for all of the leaders to come into the pits, with Dale Earnhardt still out in front. And we're going to go downstairs and check in with Sam Posey. Sam?
Well, Al, here's what happened to Kyle. This fourth turn here at Darlington is one of the most infamous turns in all of racing. In turn 3, you have a constant radius and a constant banking. Very easy going. You get to turn 4, and suddenly it tightens up dramatically, but the banking amount stays exactly the same. So the driver has to try to thread his way through. It's a single-lane situation, complicated by a bad bump right in here, headwinds that have today been pushing up against the cars like this. It's a treacherous situation, and it caught Kyle Petty out. Now, you might wonder why the track is configured this way, and it's an amusing answer. When they laid it out, the man that owned the property wasn't here. He came back from Europe where he'd been summering. He said, my gosh, that track is going to go right into my minnow pond. I use those minnows for fishing. So he made them change it, and that idiosyncrasy has made Darlington one of the most dangerous tracks in the world. And just caught Kyle Petty out. Back to you, Al.
All right, Sam. So Kyle Petty is finished for the day. We are still under the yellow with Earnhardt leading. Yarborough now in second place and Parsons third. We'll be back in a moment. Back live at the Rebel 500, still under the yellow, but we are anticipating the green as the cars are now moving down the back straightaway. We have 330 laps in the books. We have 37 laps remaining, shade more than 50 miles left in this, the sixth race on the Grand National Circuit for 1982. Dale Earnhardt, the leader, in car 15. After the pit stops, Cale Yarborough moving into second place in car 27. There is race control, and that man is Bill Gasaway, the competition director.
You're on live, Dale.
I just saw something that we're not supposed to do.
Bill Gasaway, a man of great authority.
And Bill Gasaway is the man who can tell them they can race under green, and that is the indication as manifested by the starter Harold Kinder. So once more, Earnhardt, Yarborough, the third man in the picture is car 44. That is Terry Labonte, but he is one lap down. Tim Richmond in car 2 is also one lap down. Labonte has not won a race this season, but he is the current point leader.
Well, Dale Earnhardt still in the lead there, car number 15, closely followed by Cale Yarborough in car number 27. Dale Earnhardt led more laps in this particular race than any other driver, and he's led more laps this year than any other driver, but he still hasn't won a race. So this could easily be it for him. I'm sure he's in tender hooks, even when you've got a lead like he had just a few minutes ago. And there goes Cale Yarborough trying to make a move on him right now, going into turn 3. No room on this single-track raceway to get through at that particular time. You've really got to be a full, almost half a car length ahead of the car that you're passing. And look at this signage that gets involved here going down the front stretch. Cale Yarborough really bombs down there. almost loses out, and he's nearly in contact with Tim Richmond there in car number 2. He obviously didn't see Tim Richmond as he came out from the inside of the racetrack, and they've made contact. They're standing field again. You can see the tire smoke coming on. Tim Richmond, car number 2, young driver trying to make his name, and certainly Kim Yarborough will know his name after this race.
Beyond any question, he has unlapped himself from Yarborough. He trails now only the leader, Dale Earnhardt. It's been quite a day already for Cale, but there is Earnhardt now, at least momentarily, in the clear again with 33 laps to go.
Well, I think you're going to see Yarborough here get this sorted out. I think we're going to see it again, but a replay of what happened here, and here you see that car number 2, Tim Richmond, very close to kill Yarborough. Both cars come in contact. It could easily have been that Yarborough was right out of control there. Only a driver with his experience and knowledge could have settled the car down and brought it back under control. Very easy in a situation like that with inexperience, because he was the car on the outside of the racetrack and the one most liable to get into trouble. And right now he's still behind Tim Richmond. That's Tim Richmond in the blue and yellow car, car number 2 there. Cale Yarborough higher on the racetrack. He's now getting his nerves back into shape, getting his pace right again, and I think you'll see him making a pass on Tim Richmond here, who of course is relatively inexperienced in comparison to the great Yarborough.
32 laps remaining in the Rebel 500 from Darlington, South Carolina. Dale Earnhardt is the leader in car 15, with Cale Yarborough second and Bill Elliott currently third. Live again at the Rebel 500 in Darlington, South Carolina. The leader is car 15, Dale Earnhardt. Just in front of Earnhardt is car 2. That's Tim Richmond. When we went away for the commercial, Richmond had unlapped himself from Yarborough, and he then moved past Earnhardt. So he is at the tail end of the lead lap, which now encompasses 5 men. Earnhardt, Yarborough, Elliott, Parsons, and Richmond. They're the current standings. Earlier, Kyle Petty hitting the wall. That brought out the yellow, and Chris Economaki is with Kyle to check him out. Chris?
Kyle, that was some hit you took. Was it the track, the car, or was it the driver?
No, we've been running fairly good, and I don't know, there, after the last caution, the car just seemed to get looser and looser, like it was losing caster in the left front, and we just kept running, and finally the lower left front A-frame broke, and when it did, it just let the left front wheel just go where it wanted to, and I just couldn't turn the car and just ran head on in the wall almost.
Well, Kyle Petty finally met the Darlington wall, and so have all these other drivers here. The garage area is littered with dents, damaged, and wrecked automobiles. Back to you, Al.
Thank you, Chris. Among the damaged automobiles, that belonging to Richard Petty, Kyle's dad, and number 43, who went out earlier with a broken valve. Buddy Baker was the pole sitter today, but he went out after 2 laps of mechanical problems. Bobby Allison earlier had led the race, but then he developed oil pressure problems. Darrell Waltrip had led the race earlier. He had distributor problems, then blew a tire, and he was gone for the day. So that is what has happened to some of the big names attrition-wise. 5 men right now running on the lead lap. We've completed 343 laps with 24 laps remaining in the Rebel 500 and a half-second lead for Dale Earnhardt in car 15.
Neil Bonnet is also out of the race. Of course, he's one of the big favorites down here with the Wood brothers, and only half a second now between Dale Earnhardt and Cale Yarborough. Cale Yarborough was able to close up on Dale Earnhardt because of the passing maneuver of Tim Richmond. Earnhardt got into a little bit of a problem, had to back off a little bit, and by so doing allowed Cale Yarborough to get and sneak up behind him again. So that certainly was a good, and there, very high onto the banking, went Dale Earnhardt. On this front 3, so many cars have got very close to hitting that wall, and there again you saw it, very close indeed. And the man right filling his mirrors right now, the man from born in Timminsville and from just round the corner, Cale Yarborough, wanting to win this race more than any because it's his home racetrack and the Rebel has escaped them so far. And of course the man who's leading the race in that blue and yellow car, car 15, has not won a race this year, has led more races and laps rather than anybody else this season, and that's his picture that you see in the top left-hand side of the picture, only 29 years of age. That's his face, and he's right now gritting his teeth.
Right now he has about 27.5 miles remaining in the Rebel 500. We are set up for what should be a typically dramatic NASCAR finish 2 weeks ago at Atlanta. It was Darrell Waltrip by inches over Richard Petty. Then last week, Waltrip was leading at Rockingham. There was an accident near the end of the race that took out 6 cars, including Waltrip and Buddy Baker. The race was won by Cale Yarborough. Right now, we have 5 men on the lead lap. Number 15, Dale Earnhardt. Number 27, Cale Yarborough. Bill Elliott is currently third. In 4th place is Benny Parsons. Dale Earnhardt out in front. Cale Yarborough running in 2nd place. And let's check in with Chris.
Dale, in the closing laps with a chance at victory, where would you rather be, out front or in the draft?
Well, here I'd rather be out front. In front, it's cars handling. It's hard to pass and hard to draft past the car here. You got real narrow corners and everything, and the cars handling, I'd just soon be out front.
That obviously done before the race with Chris chatting with Dale Earnhardt. I think most of the drivers, Jackie, would echo the sentiment of Dale Earnhardt on a track such as Darlington, quite in contrast to the way it might be at a wider super speedway.
Well, again, you're dealing with this little racetrack. Remember, it's only 1.366 miles around. There's only this one groove, this one line around the racetrack, and therefore, if you can stay ahead and get out in front there, that's the place you would want to be. It's very unlikely if you make a mistake in the last lap that anyone could draft you and get past. But if any man could do it, it's the car number 27 driver. That's, of course, Cale Yarborough. He's so close and he's putting a lot of pressure, and there are no more pit stops to come. So this is really a race to the flag right now for these 2 drivers. Very impressive driving by Dale Earnhardt. He had a car that handled well. He's got an engine that's performing well. We see a car puffing out smoke down in turn 1 right now, so it may be that there could be some oil on the racetrack. That could bring out a yellow. That could change things a lot. And there you see Cale Yarborough ducking around, trying to make an impression on this man, because from a driver's point of view, if you haven't won a race, you know, you're so desperate, and he nearly hit the wall again. That was a very close thing for him. If you are nervous and you haven't won a race, there's so much more pressure on you that you're able to perhaps make little errors of judgment. You're, I suppose, more tentative than the driver who's got a load of confidence in him. And that, I think, is right now what Cale Yarborough is playing a game on Dale Earnhardt. He's trying to put pressure on him, trying to press him into making a slight error of judgment.
A little mind game going on with Earnhardt having led for the last 75 consecutive laps. When they pass the start-finish line, if you look at Bill Elliott, who is running in 3rd place, as they come around the next time, there will be just 15 laps remaining over this 1 1/3 mile long track at Darlington, South Carolina. Earnhardt and Yarborough fighting for the victory in the Rebel 500. Place in the Rebel 500. Yarborough is on top with Dale Earnhardt in 2nd place. 12 laps to go. And they are right now wheel to wheel.
And look at this. They're going round this one-track race side by side. If they had done that in the previous lap when Cale Yarborough was able to squeeze through, but I have to say that Dale Earnhardt passed more convincingly when he retook that position there to take the lead. So it's still Dale Earnhardt and Cale Yarborough in 2nd position, but what a heroic effort we had just seen for Cale Yarborough to get alongside Dale Earnhardt and to make that pass. This incredible crowd with only 11 laps to go, around 40,000 people standing up cheering the move of this car number 27 Yarborough car. What a move it was, and this race is not over, everybody.
Dale Earnhardt seeking his first win since 1980. Cale Yarborough trying to win the Rebel 500 for the first time ever. When they come around this time, we will have 10 laps, or a little bit more than 13 miles to go, as the race right now approaches the 4-hour mark. It is still Dale Earnhardt, who's run well all day long. Cale Yarborough, an incredible performance, all things considered. We have documented and talked about the problems he had, the spin that he had, the problems that he might be having aerodynamically, the problems he might be having handling-wise with the car, and there he is right there in position to win it.
Well, this is a driver. Yarborough has won 72 events in his career. Dale Earnhardt Earnhardt has only won 6 because, of course, he's so young at 29 years of age, and Cale's a young 41, a bull of a man of tremendous strength, a man of obvious intelligence, and a man of great cunning. And right now, he's using every drop of that experience, knowledge, and perhaps the little bit of sneaky stuff that's somewhere tucked away as he drives hard and tries to get into a position again, drafting as they go down the stretch, trying to find a place to get Earnhardt slightly out of shape.
If you are Yarborough right now, Jackie, at what point on the track do you want to take him, and when do you want to try to take him?
Well, I'd like to take him probably 2 laps from the end. With only 8 laps to go right now, I would be looking for about 6 more laps. I would try to make a move.
We are set up for a wild finish from Darlington, South Carolina, between Earnhardt and Yarborough. Less than 5 laps now to go on the Rebel 500. Still no change there. It is Dale Earnhardt leading. Dale Yarborough is second. Bill Elliott is about 8 seconds behind at the moment. Not a factor. Parsons Rickman also on the same lap. But with 4 1/4 laps to go, it is still Earnhardt and Yarborough, as it's been now for about 20 laps.
Well, I would say that Cale Yarborough is now looking within the next 2 laps to really make a move on Dale Earnhardt. From Dale Earnhardt's point of view, he's got to stay out of trouble. He's got to try and extend his lead just a wee bit. Because with this narrow racetrack, if Cale Yarborough were to take the lead at this stage, it would be very difficult with his amount of experience for another driver of any talent to get past him. He's going to use the racetrack to the greatest amount of advantage for him. But right now, that gap is too big. Dale Earnhardt's just got the right amount of cushion, and this short racetrack is not going to take much time to get round.
Now we have 3 laps to go. It's conceivable the back markers, the slower cars, could have a little bit to do with the finish.
It always is here, and particularly a slightly shorter track. There's 2 or 3 cars up in front now. Tim Richmond's the car immediately ahead of him, so he should make way for him. And of course, there's a blue flag, which is waved by the officials to let the slower cars know that there's a car trying to get past it. Look right there. There's Yarborough getting much closer, and this is the type of place where he can come off of this turn now and try and slingshot him, but I don't think he's close enough. Coming down the front stretch right now to the start-finishing line. He can't get him before turn 1 because of these short stretches, these short straightaways.
Last year, a similar type finish. We had Waltrip and Dan with Darrell leading. He was able to hold off Harry, and I guess in a situation like this, too, Jackie, Earnhardt has to be thinking about Yarborough, has to be thinking about how to stay in front of Yarborough, inching down, inching up, whatever is necessary at this point.
Oh, he's going to use the racetrack to his advantage also. I can see him coming out of the main groove very soon and making sure that there's no room for Yarborough.
Here we go, the white flag, 1 lap to go on the Rebel 500 with Dale Earnhardt, the 1980 Grand National Champion, the man who has led for almost the entire second half of this race. His car has run extremely well all day. Cale Yarborough, a masterful performance today. No matter what happens to Cale, the car not aerodynamically sound. It is not handled 100%, and yet Cale is still right there. However, unable to pick up any ground. It is Earnhardt cruising along as they'll come out of turn number 4. 1 last gasp now for Cale Yarborough as he tries to go to the inside, but he cannot get him. Cale Yarborough going well down low, starting to lose it. Yarborough now getting it back in turn number 1, went down inside into the marbles. Here is Elliott coming around. He finishes in 3rd position, but it was Dale Earnhardt on his way to a victory in the Rebel 500, saluting the crowd as they salute him in turn down the back straightaway. And another look now as they come down the main straightaway, and Yarborough tries to go very low but can't do it.
He really does make an effort here. I've got to give him head bounce to try. Look how he comes out the draft. He comes right across the racetrack, almost clipping the rear of Earnhardt's car there. He's onto the marbles right now. He's onto the rough stuff. This is fresh, virgin track, and look at it. It's, just 3/4 of a car length. A great effort. He, just after that, nearly lost control of his car. What a wonderful performance. My hat off to this man, though.
Dale Earnhardt winning the 1982 Rebel 500. We'll be right back.
Well, Dale, you had to work right up to quitting time, didn't you, to win this one?
Boy, it's tough. And, you know, I've been saying all along, if we can run to the end, maybe we have a shot at winning the race. And, you know, this Ford's running good all day, and Bud Moore really did put a lot of hard work into it, and all the guys on the crew. And Wrangler, you know, they've been standing behind us through thick and thin, and we finally won a race for them in the Grand National Division, and, you know, it's just great. I like to say hi to my kids back home and everybody back home, too.
You're gasping, Dale. It must have been a toughie. What went through your mind up there in the turn with a few laps to go when Cale passed you?
Well, you know, it was because of traffic, really, and I knew Cale was tough on this racetrack. He's one of the best drivers that drive this track, and I knew he'd be tough to beat, and I just had to drive the car the way I, you know, see fit, and I got a chance to get back by him, and luckily I could hold him off.
Well, that's great. Congratulations, Dale, and back to you, Al Michaels.
All right, Chris, and again, let's take another look here, Jackie, at a typical NASCAR finish. Less than a car lane.
Very impressive for both drivers. Great credit. The young and the old almost come together, but the young line comes through to win in the end.
So Dale Earnhardt taking the Rebel 500. Dale Yarborough winding up in second place. Bill Elliott finishing third. Benny Parsons was fourth. And Tim Richmond, a very impressive performance, coming in fifth. Al Michaels, Jackie Stewart, Sam Posey, Chris Economaki. That's the story from Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina. Coming up next on Wide World of Sports, the Santa Anita Derby from Arcadia, California.
But in addition...